You about to have multiple streams to pass these children, baby. Let me teach you. Get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What is happening? It is your girl, Constance Carter, coming to you live and direct. Okay. Now, with it being the end of the year, I want to talk to you, please, about the things that we go through when it comes to our protecting ourselves and protecting our families. So before I get started, I want to make sure that you all hit the thumbs up button. You are listening to the Fly Nubian Queen, the network for melanated people just like you and you and you. And I want to make sure that you're subscribing to the Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you're subscribing to Constance Carter on Facebook. Constance Carter, come follow me. Constance Carter, make sure you subscribe and you follow me. And also my YouTube page, Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter. Make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen everywhere you see, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. And then also follow me on I Am Constance Carter on Instagram as well. I wanted to talk to you today because it's so important with all the things that are going on with death and money and family. You know, I just did a video today just talking about the importance of, like, you know, being a good child. Like I am, my parents are, you know, getting up there in age. My parents are in their 70s now. And it's so important that, you know, we make sure that we're taking care of them, that we're spending time with them, that we're giving them their flowers while they're still here. But I also wanted to talk to you about, because I've seen it so many times in real estate. And if you don't know, I own a real estate company. I own Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. We're the largest African-American owned real estate firm in California. And we deal with a lot of investment properties, investors. And our mission is really to close the wealth gap and help as many people as possible to do what they can to create wealth for their families and legacies for their families. But there also has to be a protection. I don't know if you saw the article, and I posted it on my page not too long ago, about the family who have the land in Southern California, and Governor Newsom had just given the land back to the family. There's been so many instances where, especially with African Americans, we have not been able to build wealth due to everything that has happened systemically in this country. You talk about redlining, you talk about predatory lending, and all of those things that have been barriers. But now we're finally in a position where we're able to start accumulating wealth. And I want to make sure that you can not only get the wealth, but you can keep the wealth, and that it's passed down in your family from generation to generation. Okay. So what I've seen so many times, you guys, is people fighting over assets. People are fighting over assets, and it's not funny. Now, you know, let me tell you this. While I come on, make sure you put in the comments box where you're from. I see some folks, Keisha knows what's up. Put where you're from in the comments box. And remember, every time I come live, this is always an opportunity for you to network with other people. So also put what kind of business that you're in, if you have some type of business, because I want people to be able to connect with other business owners. You may be able to do some deals right here on the platform. So I want to make sure that you're putting in the comments box what type of businesses that you have. But make sure you put in where you're hailing from today. So I've been in situations where I've seen people lose their lives almost just behind, you know, when somebody dies and there's money. I don't care if there's a dollar involved. I don't care if there's jewelry involved. I don't care if it's clothes. I know people who aren't talking to each other, people who haven't talked to each other for 20, 30 years because somebody took mama's clothes and mama said that I could take the clothes. Or I had some clients who, you know, brothers and sisters who were my parents' age, that were fighting, talking about mama said that she wanted me to have this and she wanted me to have that. And they fighting over what mama said. And there's nothing in writing based upon what mama said because mama didn't have her affairs in order. And I want to impart on you guys today, if you want your kids to hate each other when you die, do nothing. I'm going to repeat myself. Put that in the comments box. If you want your kids to hate each other when they die, put this, do nothing. And I told this to my mother-in-law as well, you know, after my father-in-law passed away. If you want your kids to hate each other, don't do this, okay? Because what happens is when it comes to death and money, I've seen people, body ain't even cold yet. People coming in, moving furniture. I had a situation, my friend, she goes over to her dad's house. Her dad is dead. Folks is coming in, moving out furniture. There's nothing in writing. They had nothing in writing. They had no directives in writing. We don't know what to do with the house. The house ends up going in probate. All these things end up happening and it becomes a full-blown war. So I don't care if you have a home, especially if you have a home though. And if you have something, maybe you have a little bit of money in the bank. I know my godmother had passed away, and I know we were looking for her bank accounts and looking for her life insurance and all of those things. We got to make sure that we have everything in a certain specific place. If you have life insurance, you don't want to have your family looking around for life insurance, trying to figure out how they're going to bury you. Have all your affairs in order. If there's a sheet, if you could have a sheet that you could just write everything on, it doesn't even have to be anything fancy. And you know what? I actually have a asset checklist that I will post. I'll put in the link after this broadcast is over. I'll put the link in after this broadcast is over so that you can download and you can write where all your assets are. That is my gift to you. I'll do a link where you can download it. But it's so important that you know that everybody, if something happens, you drop dead today, that nobody is wondering. Number one, please, Black people, please, I'm looking in the camera, please, Black people, please get life insurance. The worst thing that you can do is have your family doing a GoFundMe after you died. That's not fair to anybody. Life insurance is so cheap. You can get life insurance for $20, $30 a month, and that'll be enough to bury you a lot of the times. You can get it for $100 a month. I don't know exactly what the costs are, but if there's any life insurance agents here that are listening to my live, put your information on there. Life insurance is so cheap. Did you know statistically, Black people, let me tell you something, Black people, we have more life insurance on our cell phones than we have on our lives, statistically speaking. We insure our phones more than we insure our lives. And so when something happens to us, our families are left to take care of whatever, and we have nothing. So number one, get your life insurance. Number two, put all of your information in one place and let somebody know where it's at. Please let somebody know where it is at. Okay. You do not want people looking for the life insurance, trying to figure out how they can get into your bank account, trying to figure out how they can make all this stuff happen once you die. We need to be looking at this. There has been so much death in 2020 and 2021, more death than I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And a lot of people just have not been prepared. There are people, especially, my age range that are just dying, dropping dead that I've never seen the likes of this before. And a lot of times we thinking, we got time, and we don't. So get your affairs in order. Write all your stuff down, your bank accounts, all that stuff. Again, I'll do a link. I'll do a little squeeze page, and I'll have a link where you can download it after this broadcast. Also, create a will. Have something in writing. A will is good because it gives instructions. So if you want to give instructions to your family on what you need to have done, get a will done. Guess what? You can go online and download will templates for free. It doesn't even have to be anything super fancy. You can have a notary public come over and notarize it for $10, $50, or whatever a notary charges. And it just legitimizes it. So get yourself a will and have some instructions on what happens post your demise. But even more important than a will, because a will, if you have property, a will is not going to stand against legalities. So if you have property, if you have real estate, listen, we are trying to help you to build wealth and create legacies for your family. And if you don't have a living trust, you could forget about it. Even if you have a will can be contested in the court of law. So say you die, you have a couple of properties. In your will, you give them to your kids, rightfully so, right? You give them to your kids, or you give them to your spouse, or whatever. And say you have a relative over in Mississippi, and they say, you know what? Uncle Harry said I could have this property. And even though he has no claim to the property, you're going to have to go through probate, hire a probate attorney, go through probate court, and it's going to cost you so much money per 100,000 to get this all squared away. A will can be contested. So even if you have a will, it can still be contested. But if you have a living trust, those are directives. A living trust is legally binding. So when I'm selling houses for people who have a living trust, it is easy breezy. Cousin so-and-so come over from Mississippi and said that they are entitled to anything. Is it in the trust? No. Bam. Ain't nothing you can do. So you can get a trust. Attorneys will do a trust for you. Trust typically run between $1,000 and $3,000 or $4,000, but there's actually a site online that you can get a living trust from. It's called 299trust.com. I'm gonna put that in 299trust.com. I don't endorse it. I've used it. I've used it for my parents. I use it for myself. It's a pretty legitimate trust. 299trust.com. And have your living trust set up, have it notarized, get it recorded in the county that you live in, and now your property's protected. Now your family's protected, and now you do not have to worry about anything happening post your demise. And just like Shelly said, she said it made her not even trust her family, no matter where they live. Because when you don't have a living trust and people get to, I don't care what you say. Now, I believe I'm like 99.9% sure that if something happens to my parents, me and my siblings, we'll be pretty, we'll be okay. We'll be pretty civilized when it comes to that, I think. But there's that 0.1% chance that something could happen and somebody could act a damn fool. You just don't know. We have these conversations in my family, though. We have these conversations in with my mom and my dad and my brother and my sister. My mom always, hey, this is where my stuff is. Here's where my insurance is. Here's what my directives are. Here's where my living trust is. Now, for my dad, it's a little bit more difficult. I had to make sure he got that stuff done. I had to do it all for him. But I'm like, hey, listen, I know who's going to be in charge afterwards, and I don't want to have to dealing with all this stuff. So let's deal with it now. But make sure you have those critical conversations, because life and death, death is coming. It is for some sooner than others. But if you don't have your affairs in order, it could be total chaos, and it can rip families apart, and people will not talk for the rest of their lives. I've seen it happen. It could devastate families. Money and death can devastate families. So if you want to make sure that your family stays intact beyond, and I'm sure there are people here, living witnesses, people here that have experienced it firsthand. If you've dealt with debt, if you dealt with death, I'm sure you probably dealt with some sort of drama associated with it, especially if the person don't have their stuff together. So number one, you guys, please, please, please get your living trust together. Get your insurance. Any insurance agent, if there's an insurance agent in here under the sound of my voice, put your information in the comments box, because sometimes people may not know where to go to get insurance. Get some life insurance, just even if it's term life insurance, because you have term life insurance, you have whole life insurance, and you have universal life insurance, UIL, IUL. You have the 3 different types of life insurance. Term, people say, you should really get a whole life or a universal life insurance policy so that you can cash it out in case of emergencies. You're putting money into it and you get money back. That's a little bit more expensive, even if it's just term insurance where you're paying a very little bit and you have this big policy. Or even if it's just burial insurance where they could bury you, that's next to nothing. But I would definitely want you to get more than burial insurance. But get something to relieve the burden from your family, because you do not want to do this for your family. You don't want to do this to your family. Okay. So if anybody here, Penny says she's seeing so much. I'm sure everybody who has been here, who's been in this situation, who's been dealt with debt, I'm sure that you've dealt with this before. Kathy said, this is the case with my dad and my stepdaughter. Ooh, when you have blended families, that can get really, really, really complicated. I'm grateful because my stepmom said, she was like, listen, I'm telling you right now, that's what she said. If something happened to me, my kid's coming to get me. So because we were having a conversation with my dad, and we were just talking about, things that, we need to do. And there's nothing wrong with them, but we were talking about things that we need to do. And she said, and I said, well, what do you think? I asked her, what do you think? She said, this is up to you guys. Y'all are his kids. Because trust me, if something happened to me and I got sick, my kids is coming to get me. And I respected the hell out of that. That increased my respect level for her so much more, because that was the truth. She was like, this is y'all. This is your dad. You know, I really don't have no say in this. But you have situations where you have people who get married and the wives get greedy, or the husbands get greedy. They get to chain the stuff up. They start putting stuff in their name. And then, the kids get left out, and then it just becomes drama. So while people are still in their right minds and they still have, the wherewithal to really think about all of this stuff, you want to take care of it right now. So again, 299trust.com, get your living trust. They also do wills on there as well. So you can get a will and a living trust on 299trust.com. There are templates out there for wills. They're very, very simple. Again, it's just your direction. It's just your directives. The great thing about the living trust is you have medical directives as well. So you have like your DNRs. I remember we were doing my mom's, and I was just like, yeah, DNR, do not resuscitate. My mom was like, whoa, hold up. What, Mom? Nah. You ain't finna do not resuscitate me. She looked at that because I'm just, mine's DNR. I don't want to be suffering if something happens to me. My mom was like, no. You don't have to give me at least a month in a coma, a month unconscious before you pull the plug on me, at least. I was like, okay, bet, Mom. But at least she got to look at that and see what she wanted her medical directives to be. And you could do all of that inside the trust. So it's time to start planning this stuff for your family. This is not for you, but these are for the people that you love. And if you want your people that you love to be taken care of post your demise, then you will get this stuff together. So if you're in the market for real estate, Catalyst Real Estate Professionals, we can help you with that. I'm doing a series called Broke to Woke, and it's my gift to the community. It's something that I'm doing at the Co-op Spot. If you know nothing about the Co-op Spot, I have this really great members only co-working space in Sacramento. It's beautiful, beautiful space. And we're going to be doing a series called Broke to Woke, from Broke to Woke. And I'm going to be helping you with investing. I'm going to be helping you with your credit. I want to get you in position so that you can start creating the life and the wealth of your dreams. So I'm not only doing that in Sacramento, but I'm also doing it online. So if you want to sign up for my Broke to Woke series, you can go to ConstanceCarter.com/events, and you can sign up for Broke to Woke. You could have me dropping you information, and we're going to really go in depth and really break down and give you a sense of direction on what are the next steps for you, so that you can get yourself in alignment, so that you can be dealing with stuff like this. I mean, even if you don't have a property right now, you still need to get your affairs in order. But if you do have property, get yourself a trust. If you don't have property, get yourself a will. Even if you don't have property, get yourself a trust as well. Insurance. Put your insurance in the trust, put your bank accounts, put every asset you can inside that, because it's ironclad. It's legally ironclad. Okay. So I didn't want to be on here before you very long. I just wanted to tell you long enough because I love you, and I want to make sure that your families are protected. And it takes a village to be able to close the wealth gap. And if we can do it together, if we can come together and we can build wealth together and we can work together. That's why I said, whatever business that you're in, make sure you put it in the comments box, because I want us to be able to network together, to be able to work together, because if we can work together, we can build together. And that Forbes article that said that in 2053, Black median wealth was going to be at a 0. That ain't going to happen if we work together. So let's make sure that we each one teach one. Make sure you're sharing this out in your networks, because people need to know this stuff. People need to know this stuff. And I ain't on here just jaw jacking. I'm here to give you some game for free. So make sure you sign up for Broke to Woke. Go to ConstanceCarter.com/events. And I will see you later. Thank you.
Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Want to change your life? Come see me, yo. I'm going to teach you how to build up wealth for your family. Not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder. I can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your